Hello everyone, MarcusWolfe here, welcome you all back to another episode of Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. Wow, I started the episode on the wrong save. I really did! It's like, I started 2 minutes ago and it's like, why are we talking about the ear medication again? And it's like, oh, this is the wrong save. This is a save from 2 weeks ago. It's like, oh god, no. Whoops! But more importantly, we, after a game over, and me accidentally answering the second testimony's question while still on the first testimony, because I forgot that I could present profiles as evidence, we learned that Jean Armstrong was lying, that there was no mirror in the restaurant. But it's just... But then we do go back to square one, as the judge said. Why is it that we go back to Victor Kudo seeing things that the victim did, which was rather impossible? Why did Victor Kudo see the impossible? If there's no mirror, then I don't know, honestly. I actually truly don't know. But maybe we can figure it out along the way. Are you gonna be okay, Nick? Can you really solve this contradiction? Or there's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What? What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? That there was another man at the victim's table. Well, that's the most glaring contradiction, but how do we prove that? And there was the sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Really? You do?
Well, Mr. Wright, let us hear your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. I mean, if you eliminate everything else, whatever is left is the truth, but the victim is a fake? How does that work? I mean, it would tie everything together if... What? I can't imagine what Phoenix could be thinking by saying this. The victim is a phone. Because definitely, the ear doctor didn't make a mistake. That'd be so horrible. I really don't think Mr. Kudo made a mistake, because he's so adamant. So then the only thing left is that the victim was a fake, a phony, but... I mean, it is the only thing left. Why would he be a fake? But Mr. L did die. We had the autopsy report. I am confused. This case has been riddled with nothing but contradictions from the beginning. And yet there is one very simple answer that clears it all up.
And what is that?
The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events.
What?
Yes, Mr. Kudo. The victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. And that's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. What proof do you have of this, Phoenix? Because I don't know. I mean, it does tie in well, but what evidence is there?
Order! 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 Settle down or I will have this courtroom cleared.
Quiet, Gramps. Won't you clear out of here, huh?
What did you say, Mr. Godot?
Right. Are you really saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. That would make... No, that would make sense. You reenact the poisoning to create a witness. So are you saying that the murder happened earlier than what Victor Kudo saw? Okay. I mean, wow, that... Where's the evidence, though? I don't see the evidence. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone do something as asinine as that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony... The serving girl brought him a cappuccino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl right in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
It's very difficult to believe, Mr. Wright. And yet...
And yet there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you saying everything Victor saw was an act from quote-unquote Maggie to the quote-unquote victim? Are you serious?
Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at that time. However, it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. I never believed he was innocent at all because there's just so many things that point to him as having a hand in this. That is right. Witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have to have known about it, correct?
Ooh la la! This is most difficult for me. No, it's actually quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, Mr. Armstrong. Was there or was there not a phony in Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened that day.
The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. Mr. Armstrong, you will accurately explain in detail the events of the restaurant that day.
Oui. What happened that day, Mr. Armstrong, that you are not telling us? That you tried to cover up with a mirror? La victim, Monsieur Elgi, came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Monsieur Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. None. There was no time for a phony to do la acting.
Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant at all?
Je vous demande pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
Mr. Armstrong, what you've just done is committed perjury. I will decide how to punish you later.
Oui.
In the meantime, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please, the floor is yours.
He took that perjury charge a little bit too well. I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination's over. No, he did. If he's willing to take the perjury charge, he must know something that's even worse. La victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. That was the wrong button. I am very sorry. Was he alone at his table as well? Oui. I saw him from la kitchen. And yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it a bit differently. She swears that there was another man at the victim's table. Unfortunately for you, Trite. Yesterday's witness also testified the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has this guy been drinking that offers that bad of a bite? It's not coffee, Nick. It's love. Love's bittersweet. Wow. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. That is, again, the wrong button. I really must stop with that. I apologize. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, right? Oui. He comes in often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome at Tribulations anytime. I said it was worth one sip. Nothing more, nothing less. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. Well, he said not long after, so I can assume that's a few minutes. So that's not anything demonstrative or anything big. Although I would... If I'm going to say that this is an act, that means the victim was poisoned before Mr. Kudo came to the restaurant. That's my belief. And if so, I think the most important thing to establish is what time did Mr. Kudo get here? Well, not here, to the restaurant. Out of curiosity, what time would you say Mr. Kudo arrived at Tribulations? Oh, no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. Oh, the crowd was reported at 2:25. Kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 and 10 p.m., non? Huh. Just after 2. Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are most wonderful.
I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony.
Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do for you.
Merci bien. That's French, is it?
I'm glad at least one person's in a good mood here. He's even humming a song to himself. I remember the old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m. And you are absolutely sure about the time? When I think really hard, I'm sure it was just after 2. Oui. It is the time I stopped serving the lunch menu.
Oh, quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving the specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time.
I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch.
Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already.
Witness, get on with your testimony, please. Before he calls an end to the trial. There were no other customers. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim, Glenn Elg. How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Wright? You'd never catch me drinking the same blend twice. What? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant. And yet you're here wasting our time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee if you catch my drift. But there has to be a hole in this testimony somewhere. I'm almost certain of it. When he got word he won the lottery, Monsieur became very excited.
And did you see him?
None. I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes! $500,000!
Presumably the defendant heard that too then, correct?
Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove.
And what about Mr. Kudo?
The old man choked on some bird seed that got stuck in his throat.
Well, it seems we now have yet another incident on our hands.
It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred.
And what were you doing at that moment? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill.
I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur.
I'm sorry? What do you mean?
There is the renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, and la tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong.
Clarice?
Oui, I was writing a poem, an hungry tale of a chef in $500,000 a day, cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called Pourquoi? It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for la cour.
Please, don't. Jesus.
None. There was no time for a phony to do la acting.
You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred?
I asked the little man to call from la payphone.
By your own argument, Wright. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man could see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed.
Bien. It seems la shuttle of doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas? I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh?
Oh, absolutely, Maya. Someone was impersonating Mr. Eld, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all.
But if you are right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too?
She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember?
Oh, you mean that's when the phony staged his act?
Oh, we'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony.
Well, the only new thing I got was this.
I remember the old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m.
That establishes a time frame.
So Victor Kudo arrived at 2 p.m.
The murder, because we're saying that this whole thing is an act. So the murder must have happened before 2 p.m.
And Jean Armstrong... Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Jean Armstrong is saying the truth, somewhat. Like when he said $500,000, I believe that. That the poison happened 5 minutes later, I also believe that. So if we're going to transplant those two bits of testimony to the actual time of death, which was before 2 p.m., the murder occurred after after Glenn Eld listened to the program. It had to have. There's no way he would have known he won the lottery. To which then the show was at 1:30. Oh, the flyer. Yes, yes, yes. That's my proof right here. The old man arrived at 2 p.m. The lottery was already done. There was no show to yell excitedly about winning $500,000. It had already passed half an hour ago. Where is the flyer? There it is. Right there. The most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. Every day, well, Monday, at 1:30. So that means when the victim yelled out, it was somewhere between 1:30 and 1:40. No, 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 no.
Mr. Armstrong, I'm afraid that I finally got you in your testimony. What? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to? It was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be la show Monsieur L was listening to.
I can't see any problem with his testimony, Mr. Wright.
I wonder then. You say, Mr. Armstrong, that the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m. Is that right? Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving la lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite. If you even have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life.
It's on the air at 1:30.
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. Not surprising, after all. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible this whole time. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum? Catching a show that was already long over? There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glenelgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glenelg, now dead, was poisoned by the real killer. And then, there was the phony Glenelg, who was acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, if it wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy?
Tch, quite the performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this, Music Theory 101? So let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony Elg is performing a play for the benefit of one Mr. Kudo. So then, how do you explain where did the real Glen Elg go? I don't believe I had to spell this out for the court. However, at that time the real Glen Elg was already dead.
That's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this little theory of yours? Can you explain to everyone in this court where exactly the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse. According to the old man's testimony, there's only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
Ah! The prosecution has raised a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor. I think I know. And I think I have evidence of that. Remember how I said, how did the victim's medication get into the kitchen? I don't think John Armstrong now was cleaning up the scene of the crime. I think he was hiding the body in the kitchen. And that would be the best place to do so, because it's for restaurant personnel only, and he's the only employee there. Apart from Maggie, who had already fainted, so she's not gonna notice. Yeah. He was in the kitchen. Dead. No conjecture, Trite. Let us hear some good facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence proving where the body was hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden, Nick? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's managed to turn it all around and back me into a corner.
Well, Mr. Wright, the court is waiting to hear your theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed?
Inside Tribulations. There's nowhere else. Well, it would have been too dangerous to take the body outside, so obviously, it must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations.
Interesting. So then where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these floor plans.
Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Tribulations is the kitchen. Employees only. No one comes in or out except for Jean Armstrong. The body was hidden here.
I see.
Nice supposition, Trite. But now comes the real question. Can you back it up? Where's the evidence proving the body was hidden in that location? Glenn Elg's ear medication. Right there. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? None! None! I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use la very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me.
Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, in the kitchen of Tribulations. Eh? What? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. Oh, I'm afraid this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. It contains medication.
And exactly what kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an otolaryngological clinic and was given medication that day?
You can't be serious.
I am, Mr. Godot. The defense has already had the contents of this bottle analyzed, and I have in my hands the lab results. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg that day. Glenn Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which point in time, this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you testify that you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu! Yes, you know what I'm about to say. I'm saying it was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting herself up this whole time to take the fall. None!
Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn Elg?
Never! I could not ever do such an horrible thing. Scream of a no! Using Godot's voice that I cannot do.
Mr. Godot.
Bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've already had today? Then, I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. So listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend? Je vous demande pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap! Listen to me! Por favor! Why are we... Why all of a sudden Spanish? From French to Spanish. Yo hablo español, señor Armstrong. Por favor, es español. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? None! No, absolutely none! None! I simply, Let's hear it then. You've got one shot. Right, Gramps? Witness! The court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you, as does my gavel. Oui, it is clear. What do they always say in the movies? You got a bad feeling about this? Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. It's like, please, it is a trap, listen to me, por favor. Yo hablo español, señor Armstrong. Por favor, es español. I should have said that in English, but whatever. I wanted to be fancy. It is true. I hid the body in La Kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it, you must believe me. You were forced. By who exactly? I cannot say. I will be erased. Then let's try a different question. When Mr. L died, was he really the only person at his table? There was... There was another man. Finally. I knew it. So then Maggie was telling the truth. You have cross-examined a witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. Gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Whoever that second But the problem now here is... Armstrong has been caught in a lie one too many times. The court is not going to consider him... The court is going to consider him an unreliable witness. They'll hear what he has to say. But now nobody is going to consider him telling the truth. So now... I need to prove what he said is the truth. I don't think he's lying anymore. I really don't think so. But now I need to find evidence that he's telling the truth. It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. Did you carry the body by yourself? Oui, I carried him. I carried Maggie too. Maggie? When she saw everything collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there. But why did you hide the bodies? A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. What man? Who is he? None. I cannot say. I fear for my life. Really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, then I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? I had to go along with him because there was a reason I could not refuse. And what would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yes? Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. A maiden? Oh no, you're a little bit too old to be getting away with that, sir. It's a bit too male. I can't finish the cross-examination. Ooh! I am losing my tongue here. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it. With evidence. Oh god. I think I've been doing this voice too long. I felt an intense amount of air just like in my chest. Oh god. I need a burp, but I can't burp. And that's a problem. Oh boy. Oh, I hope I can hold on for a little bit. Oh yeah, I definitely need a burp, but I can't get to burp. And now it's like a pressure in my chest. Good luck to me. But I did not kill him, I swear it. You must believe me. So, you're claiming that all you did was hide the bodies, correct? Oui, that's right.
If we are to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything and the absolute truth. You must make clear the identity of the man who ordered you to do this.
He's already confessed this much. He might as well stop dancing around the real issue. I know, but he really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is. Then sock it to him, Nick! Yeah. Actually not a bad idea. No. I know your reason. Because we know who put you up to this. Furio Tigre put you up to this. And you had to go along with him because you had this hanging over your head. A loan for $500,000 by tender lender. You have a $500,000 debt, don't you, Mr. Armstrong?
$500,000? Is this true, witness?
Oui, je suis désolé. I was weekend. I borrowed the money. This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that is why you couldn't refuse anything asked of you by this man, couldn't you? A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, didn't you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you to do. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong. La Tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to. I had no choice. So then I carried the body and the inconscient baggy out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. Your Honor, I think we can now safely say that the man who forced Mr. Armstrong's hand was Mr. Furio Tigre.
I have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that also your doing?
None! I knew nothing about that. Making it look like he was Maggie who done it. I was not. It is despicable.
Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we shall adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
"30 minutes.
I beg your pardon?
The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How the...
Don't sit back and relax yet, Wright. No one knows that that chef over there is really telling the truth now. So this trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. T. Gray is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess.
And thus, we must adjourn. And I must desperately try and burp because this pressure in my chest is killing me. Oh my god. I am actually really not kidding. Holy smokes. Yeah, we're just going to end the episode here. No great fanfare, except that John Armstrong has lied one too many times. No one can take him at his word. I believe he's telling the truth from his last testimony, but again, he's lied one too many times. We're going to need to find a way to prove he's telling the truth now. But until then, I need to relieve this pressure in my chest. Oh boy, I need a burp badly. Later, everyone.